The BJP did not do as well as it had expected to, as many people had expected it to perform. But the allies did relatively well, including yourself. So, in your opinion, what do you think went right for you? What did you do right? And what affected the BJP's performance so badly?
Well, I think collectively NDA has performed well. I mean, yes, what was expected from BJP, maybe we couldn't reach to those numbers. BJP couldn't reach to those numbers. But then I think collectively, we have performed very well. There were a lot of reasons responsible why in various other states BJP couldn't perform very well, like Uttar Pradesh and stuff. I think one of the biggest reasons was the false narrative that was set by the opposition, in which I think they were successful by setting up this false narrative concerning reservation, concerning constitution. So I think this was something which was hammered continuously throughout the elections by the opposition parties, all the ally partners of India Alliance. And I think they were successful in penetrating that deeply within the society. So I think that gave them a little edge, and I think which backfired for us. Having said that, as an ally, yes, I was concentrating on my performance also. And here continuously, because one of my strong vote bank come from this section of the society only. Our party's commitment for the people coming from the backward classes, from the SC, STs. So yes, I was extremely aggressive countering this false narrative. And I think I was successful doing that, not only for my party in Bihar, but also comparatively, if you see the results in Bihar, which were way better than a few other states where this narrative was set by the opposition. So I think, but then yes, there can't be only one reason responsible for all this. There were many other reasons also for which I think Bharatiya Janata Party is doing their manthan on it. And but then yes, we are very confident that soon we'll rectify all those things. There are many state elections coming in coming years, including Bihar, which is scheduled for next year. So I think we'll be repeating our performances, what we did in 14-19, so we'll be repeating that now.
So in other words, जैसे यूपी में जहाँ पे बीजेपी ने काफ़ी सीटें गंवाई, वहाँ पे जो फॉल्स नैरेटिव जो आप कह रहे हैं वो काउंटर नहीं कर पाए यूपी में सबसे ज़्यादा?
आई थिंक शायद नहीं कर पाए, बिकॉज इतना ज़्यादा इसका प्रचार किया गया, आरक्षण समाप्त कर दिया जाएगा, संविधान समाप्त कर दिया जाएगा. पहली बात तो देश भूल जाइए, दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं है जो आरक्षण या संविधान को ख़त्म कर सके. पहली बात तो संविधान को जब ये लोग बोलते भी हैं, कोई क्यों संविधान को समाप्त करना चाहेगा? मेरे प्रधानमंत्री जो 3 बार गुजरात के मुख्यमंत्री बने जिस संविधान की वजह से, जो तीसरी बार देश के प्रधानमंत्री बने जिस संविधान की वजह से, कोई उस संविधान को क्यों समाप्त करेगा? आरक्षण को देश की ही नहीं दुनिया की कोई ताकत नहीं है जो हटा सके. ये कोई खैरात नहीं है, संवैधानिक अधिकार है हम लोगों के लिए. ऐसे में जब इन बातों को लेकर भ्रम फैलाया जाता है और लोगों को डराकर उनका वोट हासिल करने का प्रयास किया जाता है. 2015 में बिहार में भी इसी तरीके का, बिहार विधानसभा चुनाव के दौरान यही नैरेटिव सेट किया गया था और लोगों को डराकर उस वक्त भी वहाँ पर उनसे उनका वोट लिया गया था. विपक्ष के द्वारा यही रणनीति उस वक्त भी अपनाई गई थी. बहरहाल कांच की हांडी बार बार नहीं चढ़ती, तो इस बार बिहार में तो कम से कम इन लोगों की बातों का असर हुआ नहीं. बट हाँ, कुछ राज्यों में ज़रूर हुआ है. मुझे लगता है इन ड्यू कोर्स ऑफ टाइम उसको भी रेक्टिफाई कर लिया जाएगा.
और आप और आपकी पार्टी एनडीए में रहे हैं, फिर नहीं रहे हैं, फिर अब फिर से रहे हैं, लेकिन एक बात कायम है कि आप यू आर एडमायरर ऑफ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर for many reasons. How would you define him as a leader?
I think, for me, I look up to him. मैं तो जब when we were not even the part of NDA, since that time I've been admiring him, and I think our reason to come back to NDA in 2014 was my respect, my connect with my Prime Minister only. we were with UPA that time in 2013-14 elections. So till 2013, we were part of UPA. And I remember very clearly that my father was not ready to leave that alliance. He wanted to continue in that alliance. And it was extremely difficult for me to convince him to change alliance. And that was the time when I was given the responsibility of the chairman of parliamentary board of my party. And as the chairman of the parliamentary board of my party, I suggested him that we must go ahead in an alliance with the Prime Minister because of his vision, because of his ideas. And I think in the past 10 years, he has delivered a lot of it.
So, Chirag, it's nearly 7 weeks since the NDA has come back to power for the third straight time. Do you feel, is there any change in BJP's approach to its allies compared to the time when it had 300 plus seats in the previous term? I'm asking you especially because there was a perception, in the second term of the Modi government, the NDA, there was not much of a coordination. Everything was only on paper. So any change in approach to allies, BJP's allies?
For the past 10 years, I've been the part of this alliance. Before this, my father was the part of this alliance when he was leading the party. And my personal experience says that I have never felt this, the kind of perception that's been trying to build up for the BJP and for the NDA, that the allies are not being treated well or they're not given space enough to, raise their concerns. I have never faced this. And is the reason why I don't feel that there should be a reason for them to change now. I think my Prime Minister has given us this liberty to express all our concerns openly, and I think he gives us that platform to all the allies to raise their concerns, to come up with their issues. And it's been happening I have experienced it for the past 10 years continuously, and it continues.
Chiragji, I will take you back to 2021 when you lost your party, almost all your MPs, when your uncle took all of them away and formed a new party. In fact, claimed ownership about your party. And then later you left NDA also. So tell me one thing, like how did you turn things around from that time? Even here you lost your house, you were evicted from your house. And is there any regret that BJP could have done a little more that time to help you because you fought all your battle alone before joining NDA back?
My own people were not there with me that time, so how can I hold anyone else responsible for what happened? I think the betrayal was from my own family. Had they been there with me, I don't think a situation like this would have ever popped up. Having said that, yes, last 3 years were extremely difficult for me, my family, for those people who had the belief in my party and who stood by me throughout the thick and thins. So yes, it was extremely difficult because one after the other, I was just losing. I was thrown out of my own party. Eventually, the name and the symbol of the party was also it was freezed, and there was a split in the party, eventually a split in the family as well, because 2 member parliaments were from the family out of the 5. So yes, it was a difficult time, but I think the only thing that kept me going was belief in myself, and I think this is one of the rare opportunities which come to a Nepo kid, as we all are called, right? So we don't get much opportunities to prove ourselves. So I think this came as an opportunity for myself to prove myself during this difficult time. I had only 2 options with me. Either I could have been a crybaby and just sit and cry over what has happened and keep, cursing that why only me and, what wrong did I do to anyone? Either I could have done that, or I could have, emerged as a fighter. I chose the latter one. I decided to fight and to get back everything that I have lost. And with Papa's blessing and the support of my party people and my mother, here we are.
Mr. Chirag, you were an ardent critic of Mr. Nitish Kumar, Bihar Chief Minister, so much so that you moved out of NDA then. Now you are together. What is your assessment of him and his stewardship in Bihar? And also, do you support the view that he should remain the face of NDA in 2025 assembly polls in Bihar?
Yes, of course, I do believe. See, I mean, I always, I never had any personal issues with my chief minister, and I've been very clear, and I've said this repeatedly, even when I used to criticize his policies also, because I always felt that a lot more could have been done for my state in the past 1.5, 2 decades. So yes, I always had issues with his policies, and also I have a vision of Bihar first, Bihari first. So that's the vision documents that's been done by me, my party, for a developed Bihar. That how can we, it's a complete roadmap that how can we make my state a developed state. So yes, that time I had these issues with him. But then in 2024, when the alliance was shaping up, the final alliance was taking place, I again had an option either to be out of the alliance, how I did in 2020. But then if I be the part of an alliance, then I have to be there wholeheartedly. I can't be part of an alliance and then, have apprehensions also, because that would have just damaged the alliance and would have affected our performance. So yes, with a detailed discussion with the senior leadership of Bharatiya Janata Party, I got back into the alliance. And yes, in 2025 state elections, it will be under the leadership of our current Chief Minister, Nitish Kumar ji only.
Despite your confidence in Nitish Kumar ji, do you have any apprehensions about his stewardship of Bihar, about his health? Nothing
really. I think he's doing extremely well as a Chief Minister. Of course, there are few issues. Crime is one of them. Of late, we have seen bridges and stuff falling. So yes, these are some of the issues. But I think comparatively from the era that we have come, we all, at least I remember the era of 90s, where the crime was at its peak and Jungle Raj and all these terminologies was almost became synonym to my state. So yes, so comparatively, my chief minister has done really well. But then yes, as I always say, there's always scope of improvement.
Actually, Mr. Paswan, I had two questions, but one is related to what you just said about crime and law and order situation in the state. And recently, the killing of Jatin Sahani reflected the status there. So, like you said, you are concerned. So, what do you think would be the better way to correct that situation? One. And secondly, what do you make of JDU's demand for the special status or for Bihar?
So, definitely, yes. When it comes to crime, I think we need to set precedents by catching hold of these criminals and making sure that they still in my state the conviction rate is very low. We need to improve that compared to the rest of the country and rest of the states. The conviction rate is still extremely low. I think that's something that we really need to work on. I shared my concern with my chief minister. I had a word with him concerning the same. And he is also equally concerned. I think in coming days and over a period, I think we'll get this under control. I hope so. And your second question concerning the special status. Definitely we, as in Lok Janshakti Party, for the longest time, we have also been voicing for this. And I do support Janata Dal United, when they say that our state should be given the status of a special state. But I do also understand the reason why it's not been happening, because since the time Niti Aayog's been constituted, there are many changes in the that how can you get the status for a special state. So rather than just debating and holding on to that issue, I think we should also start looking for the alternatives also, which can work towards the development of my state. Maybe a special package, maybe some more financial help through any other medium, that my state can get. Because this is one thing that we've been voicing for the longest time now. Now, being the member of Niti Aayog myself, I do understand the issues that comes, when you give the status to any state. So having that, I think we need to revisit some of the pointers in Niti Aayog. That will be done in due course of time. But till that time, I think special packages is something my state and we all are hoping for.
कबाड़ियों का सीज़न आ रहा है कि उस रास्ते में जो भी दुकानदार होंगे वो अपना डिस्प्ले करेंगे कि ओनर कौन है, ताकि कंफ्यूजन ना हो कि कबाड़ियाँ अगर मुसलमानों की दुकानों से कुछ खरीद रहे हैं या नहीं खरीद रहे हैं.
मैं 21वीं सदी का पढ़ा लिखा युवा हूँ और मेरी लड़ाई ही जातीयता और सांप्रदायिकता के खिलाफ है. I hold this particular reason responsible for the backwardness of my state. जातीयता और सांप्रदायिकता ने ही सबसे ज़्यादा मेरे राज्य बिहार का नुकसान किया है. मैं इतनी हिम्मत रखता हूँ, बिहार जहाँ पे मैं ये मानता हूँ कि वहाँ की राजनीति जातीयता से बहुत ज़्यादा डोमिनेट होती है, सांप्रदायिकता पे आधारित होती है. ऐसे में मैं इतनी हिम्मत रखता हूँ कि बिहार के मंच पे खड़ा होकर मैं इस बात को बोल सकूं कि मैं जात पात धर्म मजहब में मैं विश्वास नहीं रखता हूँ. एंड विच इज़ ट्रू ऑल्सो. मैं नहीं मानता हूँ. मैं बस इतना मानता हूँ कि एक अमीर है और दूसरा गरीब है. अमीर वर्ग में भी हर जात पात धर्म मजहब के लोग मिलेंगे, गरीब जाति में भी आपको हर जात पात धर्म मजहब के लोग मिलेंगे. इन दोनों के बीच की खाई को हम लोग को पाटने की ज़रूरत है और हर सरकार की जिम्मेदारी है कि उस गरीब वर्ग के लिए काम करे. उस गरीब वर्ग में आपको दलित भी मिलेंगे, पिछड़ा भी मिलेंगे, अपर कास्ट के भी मिलेंगे, मुस्लिम भी मिलेंगे, सब आपको मिलेंगे. उनके लिए काम करने की ज़रूरत है. तो जहाँ पे भी ऐसे डिवाइड जातीयता के नाम पे हो या धर्म के नाम पर हो, मैं कतई उसको ना मैं समर्थन करता हूँ, ना मैं उसको बढ़ावा देना चाहता हूँ. और मुझे नहीं लगता कि मेरी उम्र का कोई भी पढ़ा लिखा युवा, भले वो किसी भी जाति या किसी भी धर्म से आता, उसको इन सब बातों से कोई फर्क पड़ता है.
So you do not support that advisory in Muzaffarnagar?
No, I don't.
बाकी और जो राजनेता हैं उनकी तुलना में आप अभी युवा हैं. हमारे यहाँ 50 के बाद भी युवा माने जाते हैं नेता लोग. और आपका एक अपना सपोर्ट बेस है, आपकी पार्टी का सपोर्ट बेस है बिहार में. तो आने वाले समय में आप चाहेंगे कि आप अपने को प्रदेश की राजनीति में स्थापित करें, या आप अपने पिताजी श्री रामविलास पासवान की तरह केंद्र की राजनीति में ज़्यादा फिट अपने को पाएंगे?
सो माई रीज़न टू कम इन टू पॉलिटिक्स, उसका सबसे बड़ा कारण ही बिहार रहा है. बिहार और बिहारी रहे हैं. मुंबई में मैं काम करता था, दिल्ली में मैं पला बढ़ा हूँ. मुंबई में जब मैं काम करता था तो मैंने बहुत करीबी रूप से देखा है कि किस तरीके से वहाँ पे बिहारियों को अपमानित किया जाता है. बिहारी शब्द तक को गाली बना दिया गया. अगर मैं वहाँ पे देखता था कोई रिक्शे वाला, ठेले वाला सड़क पे कोई जा रहा है तो बिहारी बोलकर उसको एक गाली की तरह एड्रेस किया जाता था. मेरे लिए ये बहुत बड़ी चिंता का कारण था कि जो मेरी पहचान है वो उसी को ही आप अपमानित कर रहे हैं. तो मेरे लिए ये बिहारी अस्मिता की लड़ाई है. बिहार का अपना एक खोया हुआ गौरवशाली इतिहास रहा है, उसको पुनर्स्थापित करने की ये लड़ाई है. ऐसे में राइटली सेड, अनलाइक माय फादर जो कि केंद्र की राजनीति में, और वो शुरू से क्लियर थे इस बात को लेकर कि उनको केंद्र की राजनीति में रहना. जितना क्लियर वो इस बात को लेकर थे उतना ही क्लियर मैं इस बात को लेकर हूँ कि मुझे स्टेट की पॉलिटिक्स में जाना. मेरा ध्यान ज़्यादा उसी तरफ केंद्रित है. बिहार फर्स्ट, बिहारी फर्स्ट, जिस विजन की मैं बात करता हूँ पूरी तरीके से मेरे प्रदेश को लेकर बनाया गया विकास का विजन डॉक्यूमेंट है. तो यस, आई विल बी मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द स्टेट.
अगले साल प्रदेश में विधानसभा के चुनाव होने हैं, तो उसमें आप एनडीए की तरफ से इस संभावना को देखते हैं कि आप चीफ मिनिस्टर कैंडिडेट हों वहाँ पे?
मैं कतई ऐसी किसी संभावना पे मैं ध्यान केंद्रित ही नहीं कर रहा हूँ. मेरा लक्ष्य बिहारियों के सम्मान को बढ़ाना है, बिहार को विकसित राज्य बनाना है. ऐसे में मैं किसी एक भूमिका में बांधकर ही इस बात को कर सकूं कतई ज़रूरी नहीं है. किसी भी माध्यम से हो. आज की तारीख में मुझे मेरे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने फूड प्रोसेसिंग जैसे एक अहम महत्वपूर्ण विभाग की जिम्मेदारी दी गई है, जो कि मेरे जैसे जिस राज्य से मैं आता हूँ, कृषि प्रधान राज्य है मेरा. मेरे विजन डॉक्यूमेंट में भी अगर आप देखेंगे मैंने कई बार इस बात का जिक्र किया था फूड प्रोसेसिंग को ही लेकर, और मुझे नहीं पता था कि इवेंचुअली मुझे यही जिम्मेदारी मिलेगी। प्रमुखता से उसमें मैंने इसी बात का जिक्र किया था। मैं हाजीपुर से आता हूँ, हाजीपुर का सांसद हूँ। हमारे यहाँ के केले बड़े मशहूर होते हैं। मैंने हमेशा इस बात को कहा कि अगर वहीं पे ही इसके प्रोसेसिंग के यूनिट्स लग जाएं, वही केला जब डाउन साउथ जाता है, केले के चिप्स बन के कितने महंगे दामों पे बिकता है, बट अगर इसकी प्रोसेसिंग वहीं हो जाए, इसकी पैकेजिंग वहीं हो जाए, इसकी मार्केटिंग वहीं हो जाए, तो वहाँ के किसानों को आर्थिक लाभ मिलेगा, राज्य के राजस्व में भी योगदान होगा, वहीं के लोकल हमारे युवाओं को रोजगार के अवसर भी मिलेंगे। मुजफ्फरपुर की हमारे यहाँ लीची है, भागलपुर का आम है, मखाना आज की तारीख में राष्ट्रीय नहीं अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर उसकी डिमांड हुई है। तो ऐसे राज्य जो कि कृषि प्रधान राज्य हैं, उनके लिए मुझे लगता है इस विभाग का महत्वपूर्ण योगदान है। तो भूमिका एक केंद्रीय मंत्री के तौर पर भी अभी भी निभाकर मैं अपने राज्य में विकास में योगदान दे सकता हूँ। तो मैं किसी भूमिका में अपने आप को बंधता हुआ नहीं देखता, बट हाँ देश प्रदेश मेरा आगे बढ़े इस तरफ मेरा ध्यान जरूर है।
Just to move away from Bihar a little bit, you are an important ally of the BJP, and there are some members of the BJP basically who have blamed the consolidation of minorities for the party's subpar performance. Suvendu Adhikari said that the slogan of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas and the Minority Morcha, I mean, there's really no need for that. So what is your opinion on that?
Well, I think I don't know, because I also heard this this statement and then there was certain clarification. So I really don't know, I mean, what was said and with what intention it was said. As I said, I'm very clear that any kind of politics which divide, I don't support. Any kind of discrimination, whether it's on the basis of caste, it's on the basis of religion, it's on the basis of gender, anything. I don't support any such kind of politics.
Moving slightly away from politics, before you entered politics, you were an actor. You also did a film with Miss Kangana Ranaut, and incidentally, she's also an MP now. When she came to the Lok Sabha, a lot of users on social media expressed this desire to see two of you on the screen together again.
Again, after one disaster.
Mr. Paswad, my question is, which is in the minds of thousands of people. You are one of the most eligible bachelors of the country. Let me finish. And probably the only one who's unmarried in the Council of Ministers, if I may say so. So you must be getting hundreds of proposals, if not in thousands. So any wedding plans this year, next year?
And if you're getting the proposals, how are you processing it?
I don't know. I think my mother's processing most of it, but I don't know how to answer these questions. I've already started turning red. I don't see myself getting married for a couple of years at least, because I have state elections coming in Bihar. So that's my next priority. And I think marriage is also a huge responsibility. And you can't just be occupied in your work and, give this for an excuse to your better half that, it's my work is my priority. If your work is your priority, then set your priority clear. I think I am very clear with my priority that I'm married to my work. And if I don't have time for my better half, so I should not get into that.
So, Chirag ji, I am from the same constituency from where you elected as an MP. Right. So when I look back, like 30 years back, you said that you were a 90s kid, same here. So 30 साल पहले तक देखते हैं तो डेवलपमेंट के नाम पे we just see the bridges, the flyovers, the roads that was made. उसके बाद अगर हम बात करें तो एजुकेशन इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, सिटी में ट्रैफिक जाम के इश्यूज जो अक्रॉस स्टेट है, जो इंडस्ट्रीज नहीं है, स्टूडेंट्स को अगर बेहतर पढ़ाई करनी है तो माइग्रेशन इज द ओनली वे आउट फॉर देम. So all in that situation, and you are there to be, you are going to be there for at least many more decades to be the face of the state. So how do you see, I mean, what's your vision for the state and how do you plan to achieve the vision?
So Bihar first, Bihari first, जैसा मैंने कहा, I mean, this vision document caters to all the problems that my state faces today. मतलब मेरे पास आप कोई भी बिहार की समस्या रखें, मेरे पास उसका समाधान होगा. आपने एजुकेशन की बात की, मतलब हमारा वो राज्य है जहाँ पे नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी पे हम लोग तब फक्र करते थे जब देश तो भूल जाइए दुनिया में कोई शिक्षा के महत्व को नहीं समझता था, तब हम लोग और आज भी मेरे प्रधानमंत्री जब G20 देशों के राष्ट्र अध्यक्ष आते हैं तो बैकड्रॉप में नालंदा यूनिवर्सिटी की तस्वीर वो रखते हैं और वहाँ पे उन राष्ट्र अध्यक्षों से मुलाकात करते हैं। वहाँ से एक ऐसी सिचुएशन आई जहाँ पर आज शिक्षा के नाम पर हमारे राज्य में ज़्यादा कुछ रहा नहीं। आज भी मेरे बच्चे कोटा जाते हैं पढ़ने के लिए, कोटा में पढ़ने वाला बिहारी, पढ़ाने वाला बिहारी, अधिकांश शैक्षिक संस्थानों के मालिक बिहारी, पर व्यवस्था राजस्थानी। क्यों ये व्यवस्था पटना में, भागलपुर में, मुजफ्फरपुर में, बिहार के अलग अलग पॉकेट्स में नहीं हो सकती? बट द प्रॉब्लम इज दैट विजन नीड्स टू बी देयर एंड दैट नीड्स टू बी इम्प्लीमेंटेड। आज अब बिहार के विकास की अगर हम लोग बात करें, किसी भी राज्य का विकास वहाँ के राजस्व पे, आप रेवेन्यू कितना वहाँ से जनरेट करते हैं। मेरा एक ऐसा प्रदेश है जहाँ पे टूरिज्म की अनंत संभावनाएं हैं और खासतौर पर रिलीजियस टूरिज्म की। अगर अयोध्या में एक भव्य राम मंदिर का निर्माण हो सकता है तो मेरी माता सीता का वही मंदिर सीतामढ़ी में क्यों नहीं बन सकता? मैं आस्तिक हूं, मैं पूजा पाठ में विश्वास रखता हूं। जो आस्तिक हैं उनकी आस्था एक तरफ, उसको तो सम्मान मिलेगा ही मिलेगा, पर उससे रेवेन्यू कितना जनरेट होगा? आज आप उत्तर प्रदेश में देख लीजिए, अयोध्या में राम मंदिर बनने की वजह से टूरिज्म वहां का कितना बढ़ने लग गया। ऐसे ही सीतामढ़ी में, और मैं तो कहता हूँ 6 लेन का एक कॉरिडोर बन जाए, हर वो व्यक्ति जो अयोध्या जाए भगवान राम के दर्शन करने, वो माता सीता का आशीर्वाद लेने सीतामढ़ी आए। ये एक चीज हो गया। गुरु गोविंद सिंह जी की धरती है वो, भगवान महावीर की धरती है, गौतम बुद्ध की धरती है। अगर इसको रिलीजियस टूरिज्म के तौर पर ही अगर हम लोग इसको विकसित करने लग जाए, बट ये तमाम चीजें इट्स लाइक अ विशियस सर्कल, मतलब इतनी इंटर रिलेटेड है। टूरिज्म तब आपका बढ़ेगा जब वहां पे क्राइम रेट घटेगा, जब लोगों को विश्वास होगा कि मैं जा रहा हूं और मैं सुरक्षित हूं। मुझे लगता है हर इस स्तर पर हम लोग को काम करने की जरूरत है। मैंने किसानों का मैंने जिक्र किया ही कि अगर आप प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट्स अगर आप वहां पे लगाने लग जाए तो वहां पे किसानों की आमदनी बढ़ेगी। मैं कोई भविष्यवक्ता नहीं हूं, बट ये हालात देखिएगा आने वाले 1 आध महीने में पुनः आधा बिहार बाढ़ में डूबेगा, आधा सुखाड़ से प्रभावित रहेगा। इंटरलिंकिंग ऑफ द रिवर्स की योजना पे मैंने लंबे समय से मैंने आग्रह किया कि हम लोग को काम करने की जरूरत है। सिंचाई की समस्या का भी समाधान होगा, बाढ़ सुखाड़ की समस्या से भी हम लोग को निजात मिलेगा। तो नदियों को जोड़ने की एक महत्वपूर्ण और एक बड़ी योजना है जिस पर हम लोग को काम करने की जरूरत है। तो अगर इन तमाम सेक्टर्स पे इंडिविजुअली अगर हम लोग फोकस करने लग जाए, शिक्षा को भी हम लोग इम्प्रूव करें। सबसे बड़ी बात भाई, जब तक हम लोग पलायन को नहीं रोकेंगे, माइग्रेशन जब तक नहीं रुकेगा हमारे स्टेट से, तब तक आज बिहार में कोई ऐसा परिवार नहीं है जो थोड़ा सा भी सक्षम होता है तो सबसे पहले अपने बेटा और बेटी को पढ़ने के लिए बाहर भेजता है। वो दूसरे राज्यों में जाएंगे, वहां पे शिक्षा करेंगे, वहीं पर नौकरी करेंगे, वहीं पे घर खरीदेंगे, वहीं पे शादी करेंगे, वहीं पे बच्चे पैदा करेंगे और फिर उसी राज्य के होके रह जाएंगे और अपने राज्य में प्रवासी कहलाते हैं। तो जब तक हम लोग इसको नहीं रोकेंगे, जब तक हम लोग रिटेन नहीं कर पाएंगे, बिहारियों के सामर्थ्य पे मुझे नहीं लगता किसी को भी कोई प्रश्न चिन्ह है या होना चाहिए। आज मीडिया हाउसेज में देख लीजिए, आपको अच्छी पोस्टों पे आपको बिहारी मिलेंगे। बिजनेस हाउसेज में सीओ सीएफओज आपको बिहारी मिलेंगे। मेडिकल कॉलेजेस हॉस्पिटल में एचओडीज आपको बिहारी मिलेंगे। नीडलेस टू से मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ आईएएस आईपीएस ऑफिसर्स आपको बिहारी मिलेंगे। दूसरे देशों में चले जाइए, स्टार्टअप इनोवेशन के नए आइडियाज देने वाले आपको बिहारी मिल जाएंगे। तो जब बिहारी इतना आगे, बिहार इतना पीछे क्यों? ये सवाल का हम लोग का जवाब ढूंढने की हम लोग को जरूरत है। तो ऐसे में मुझे लगता है कि अगर इन तमाम विषयों पर अगर साथ मिलकर अगर हम लोग काम करने लगे, और शिक्षा जो मैंने सबसे पहले मैंने रखा, जब तक हम लोग शिक्षित नहीं होंगे, जब तक शिक्षा बिहार में नहीं आएगी, राजनीतिक दल हम लोग को जातियों में ही बांटते रहेंगे, जात पात धर्म मजहब की राजनीति करते रहेंगे, अपना अपना वोट बैंक क्रिएट करते रहेंगे। इससे उठकर अब हर बिहारी को सोचने की जरूरत है।
Paswan ji, you had a portfolio which is very close to Prime Minister Modi as well. Budget around the corner. Do you expect some new scheme, more allocation? What's your wish list for the budget?
Well, I mean, of course, my wish list is really high, but then yes, I mean, I do understand because this is the budget for the rest of the financial year. So I mean, I do understand there will be a lot of concerns and a lot of limitations in it. Though I have sent my proposal, But then I don't know how much of that gets accepted. But then yes, in due course of time, I think by the next financial year, because I think that this ministry deserves, and we do demand also, a good budget, because through this we can actually do like a carpet bombing, by which not only setting up these food processing units, but also giving employment to the local people there. So I think, and rightly said, I think my Prime Minister, this ministry is very, very, very close to him. And several times we had one-to-one interaction, where he's given me his precious suggestions and, so yes, I think under his guidance and his leadership, I think in coming years, this ministry will do really well.
Chiragji, a connected question. So food processing in India is still very low as compared to the other, evolved economies. So as a minister for this, what are your, what is your strategy? Top 3 priorities that you have?
So, to begin with, yes, I mean, our contribution, I mean, compared to the, rest of the world, international market, also if we see, it's extremely low. I think to begin with, yes, I mean, setting up the processing units is definitely there in my priority. Also an awareness, because there are a lot of misleading advertisements, misleading theories, that pops up concerning the processing of the food, because in India, we still, come with that mindset that fresh hona chahiye and, direct from the farm and all that concept that we had. So I think we need to promote this as a sector, the processing as a sector. And also now the demand is there. Initially, yes, the demand was less. But with the new modernized, so-called modernized concept of the society, with nuclear families coming up, and, working couples coming up, so ready to eat food and, all these things are way more in demand. And also, I think as an Indian, I would love to see Indian brands in international market, when you go out and you travel internationally, in all those big supermarkets, you would love to see Indian brands. So yes, to take it, Indian brands to that level, setting up units, and also getting rid of all the misconceptions that been given about food processing. Process ho gaya to value chali gayi. Rather, food processing is all about value addition. So clearing out these theories would be in my list of priorities in coming years.
Chiragji, your ministry will hold World Food India in September. It's a flagship event of your ministry. So how the preparation is going on, and what kind of expectation you are having in terms of investment commitments from foreign food companies?
So yes, I mean, we all are looking forward to World Food India that is scheduled to take place in September, 19th September till 22nd September. And that gives everybody a platform to come on the same page and have interaction. Not only innovators, startups, across the country, but also on an international level, exchange of technology, what is happening in various other countries. We can learn from them, we can take higher by technologies from them, and which definitely will help our farmers, will help our units here. So yes, this gives a platform across the globe to come and interact. Everything that concerns, right from the farm to the folks, everything that comes in between. So everybody coming under the same roof and exchanging ideas, it gives everyone a good opportunity.
A related question about, food processing got FDA of some $6.8 billion in last 10 years. So what is your target for the next 10 years? And similarly, you talked about our food products going abroad. So any target for the export?
Well, I mean, we have not have any targeted figures. We have not worked on that yet. But then, yes, definitely, as a ministry, we are looking forward for a huge expansion plan. Not only at the national level, as I said, coming up with these cluster units and a lot of schemes that we run, PMFE, like the other day I was in Srinagar, and I was really happy to see the beneficiaries of these schemes, who comes from the very rural part of the country, and they are doing so good. young girls, young ladies, coming, and now they are generating employment. They are giving employment to lot of locals there. So yes, getting this to the very grassroots level, but also, as I just mentioned, at an international level, making Indian brands more popular, getting them the space there. So yes, these are the things. There are a lot of international standards which still, because of the weather conditions here, we are not able to meet up to the standards there, and is the reason why we are not able to penetrate the international market that much. But then that is also something that we are working on very seriously. So I think over the years, we see this making a huge impact.
So Chirag, you already spoke about Bihar as a possible place for setting up a banana food processing, for example. Have any proposals come from other states also where you could set up food processing, which can be focused? Can you give us some details of those states?
I had a meeting with the minister of the concerned ministry from Punjab. So their proposal from their side, there are a lot of proposals from Northeast. I had a meeting with the Meghalaya Chief Minister Konark Sangma the other day. So from the Northeast, from the southern states, especially, yes, states which are more agro-based, definitely the demands and the proposals are more from them. But then I think India is an agriculture-based country. So definitely, not only at the state level, I think at the block level, we have demands coming from. And it's the reason why there's a very famous scheme of ours, ODOP, one district, one product, that we are doing. So yes, I think it's across the country.
So in Bihar, the JDU and the BJP, they built bridges, burnt bridges, built, burnt. But the bridges in Bihar seems to be a problem. Is it too much of a coincidence of this collapse?
This is a serious issue. And bridges collapsing cannot be taken lightly. And definitely this shows that somewhere or the other, corruption has taken place, compromises were made. I don't want to get into the politics that who was in government that time and who was the part of the alliance that time and stuff. I don't want to get into that politics. Today, we are in the government, and definitely it's our responsibility to make sure that this doesn't get repeated. And whosoever, because of whom this thing has happened, should be held accountable and should be punished so that a precedence is set for the future.
Chiragji, one political question. One nation, one election has been the agenda of the NDA government for quite some time. This time, even before the election, it was on BJP's manifesto. Now you have come back to power, but the numbers are not the way you expected them to be. So do you see such a possibility happening during this term of the government?
Well, I think, yes, of course, why not? One nation, one election is something that me and my party, we have supported it very, very strongly. And also we have given our suggestions to the ex-president who's heading this committee now. We have given our suggestion from the party side also. But then we are still awaiting for a final draft to come for discussion. So until unless a draft is not presented before us, it would be too early to comment anything. But then yes, if any such proposal comes for one nation, one election, Lok Janshakti Party Ramvilas will be supporting it strongly.
मैं सिर्फ ये जानना चाह रहा था कि एक्टिंग ज्यादा कठिन है या राजनीति ज्यादा आसान है?
So again, as a Nepo kid, ये बहुत सहजता से आता है. जब आप घर पे अपने पेरेंट्स को जिस प्रोफेशन से जुड़ा हुआ देखते हैं, तो पूरे घर का वातावरण ही ऐसा होता है कि वो चीज़ें आप बहुत सहजता से आप समझ लेते हैं, सीख लेते हैं. अब मेरे लिए घर पे चुनावी डिस्कशन, अब मैं अपने दोस्तों के यहाँ जाता था, उनको चुनाव के बारे में पता ही नहीं होता था कि इलेक्शंस क्या होते हैं. बट हाँ, उनके फादर जिस प्रोफेशन में है, कोई बैंकर है या कोई लॉयर है, तो उनको उस बारे में ज़्यादा जानकारी होती थी जो मुझे नहीं होती थी. तो ये बहुत स्वाभाविक परिस्थिति होती है. बट हाँ, अब क्योंकि वो इतनी सहजता से आता है और अगर उस प्रोफेशन में कोई चला जाता है तो आज की तारीख में उसे गलत माना जाता है. मैं जिस ज़माने से आता हूँ, नॉट दैट कि मैं कोई बहुत ज़्यादा पुराने ज़माने का हूँ, बट फिर भी 4 दशक तो मैं जी ही चुका हूँ. तो ऐसे में जिस ज़माने से मैं आता हूँ, उस वक्त पिता के नक्शे कदमों पर चलना, माता पिता के नक्शे कदमों पर चलना अच्छा माना जाता था. अगर बच्चा या बच्ची नहीं वैसा करता है तो कहा जाता था कि अरे देखो पिता ये कर रहे हैं, ये क्या करने चला गया। तो उस वक्त अच्छा माना जाता था, बट वो कब नेपोटिज्म में बदल गया और कब हम सब नेपोकिड बन गए और ये सबसे बड़ा अपराध हो गया हम लोग के लिए, ये मुझे पता ही नहीं चला। हैविंग सेड दैट, क्योंकि उसी परिप्रेक्ष्य में मैं पला बड़ा हूँ और अगर फिल्मी अंदाज में बोलूँ तो मेरी 7 पुश्तों ने, किसी ने मूवीज में कोई काम नहीं किया, दूर दूर तक किसी का रिश्ता नहीं रहा फिल्मों से। तो वहाँ गया, एक ऑनेस्ट प्रयास किया मैंने, बट नहीं वर्कआउट हुआ, और तो इसीलिए वो बहुत कठिन था मेरे लिए, ये बहुत सहज है।
Chirag, I know you think of your brief film movie career as a dark chapter in your life, लेकिन कुछ तो सीखा होगा उसमें, कोई अच्छी बात सीखी होगी in your brief career and the films.
I think that gave me an absolute clarity कि क्या नहीं करना है जीवन में. So I was very clear कि वो तो नहीं करना है. No, and that also gave me a clarity about this. मैं शुरू में ज़रूर मैं इस बात को मैं मानता था कि मुझे राजनीति में आना है, बट जब तक कोई चीज़ को करने की जिद आप में नहीं होना, मुझे नहीं लगता कि आप 100% कर सकते हैं. उस जिद के पनपने के कारण होने चाहिए, और मुझे लगता है वो कारण मुझे वहाँ से मिला. अगर मैं वहाँ नहीं जाता, अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर नहीं निकलता. दिल्ली में ऑफ कोर्स मम्मी पापा सबने एक प्रोटेक्टिव एक एनवायरनमेंट तो दिया ही था. तो पहली बार मैं अपने कंफर्ट जोन से बाहर निकला, बाहर की दुनिया को उस तरीके से देखा, इन बातों को अनुभव किया जो मैंने कहा कि कैसे बिहारियों को अपमानित किया जाता, बिहारी शब्द को गाली बनाया जाता. क्योंकि यहाँ पे जिस एनवायरनमेंट में रहता, मेरे सामने शायद कोई हिम्मत नहीं करता इस तरीके की भाषा का इस्तेमाल करने का, बट वहाँ पे क्योंकि कोई ऐसा पर्दा नहीं था, बैरियर्स नहीं थे, तो सारी चीज़ों का खुल के मैंने एक्सपीरियंस किया. और मुझे लगता है उस चीज़ ने मेरे अंदर वो जिद जो अभी भी उतनी ही वो आग तेज़ है कि बिहारियों के सम्मान की लड़ाई लड़नी है, उनकी अस्मिता की लड़ाई लड़नी है, ये जिद मुझे वहाँ से मिली. और आई थिंक जब आपका पैशन आपका प्रोफेशन बन जाए, उससे खूबसूरत और कुछ हो नहीं सकता. सो आई थिंक वो पैशन डेवलप करने में मुंबई का बहुत बड़ा योगदान है.
चिराग जी, कास्ट सेंसस को लेकर के काफी दलों ने डिमांड्स उठाई हैं, काफी बातचीत चल रही है, आपका क्या उसके ऊपर में अप्रोच है? व्हाट इज योर पर्सपेक्टिव ऑन इट?
मैं बिल्कुल इस बात का पक्षधर हूँ कि कास्ट सेंसस अक्रॉस द कंट्री होना चाहिए. बिहार में इसको हम लोग कर चुके हैं. कई योजनाएं राष्ट्रीय और स्टेट के लेवल पे भी तैयार की जाती हैं जो जातियों पर आधारित होती हैं, उनके अपलिफ्टमेंट को लेकर होती हैं. ऐसे में उस जाति की आबादी कितनी है, ये सही आंकड़े कम से कम सरकार के पास होने चाहिए. कि अगर आप किसी जाति को लेकर अगर आप कोई योजना बना रहे हैं, उनके अपलिफ्टमेंट को लेकर, उनको मुख्य धारा के साथ जोड़ने को लेकर, तो आप सही अनुपात में राशि आवंटित कर सकें. उसके लिए उसकी आबादी कितनी है, ये जानकारी आपके पास होनी चाहिए. कई बार माननीय न्यायालय के द्वारा भी विभिन्न विषयों में जाति की आबादी के आंकड़े मांगे जाते हैं, जो संभवतः शायद सरकार के पास सही आंकड़े नहीं हो. तो ऐसे में वो आंकड़े सरकार के पास होने चाहिए. मैं कतई उसको सार्वजनिक करने का मैं पक्षधर नहीं हूँ. मुझे लगता है वो समाज में से बंटवारा करते हैं. हमारे राज्य में उसको सार्वजनिक किया गया. सार्वजनिक करने से पहले हम लोग जाति वाले थे, अब हम लोग परसेंटेज वाले हो गए. तुम 4% वाले हो, हम 3.5% वाले हैं, वो 7% वाले हैं, तो कोई 19% वाला है. तो ये सिर्फ डिवाइड करता है. तो मैं नहीं मानता कि इसको सार्वजनिक करना चाहिए, बट सरकारों के पास ये आंकड़े जरूर होने चाहिए.
तो इस बार जब सेंसस होगा, क्या आपकी ये मांग रहेगी कि उसमें हो कास्ट सेंसस, क्योंकि अभी सेंसस ड्यू है?
बिल्कुल 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 मैं चाहूंगा.
Paswan ji, your views on Uniform Civil Code, do you support it? It's part of BJP's manifesto as well.
Well, again, as I answered about One Nation, One Election, we don't have a draft for it yet. And until unless we don't go through that draft, because there are a lot of concerns that how can you bring, India is a country of diversities, right from top north to down south, right from east to west, you know. There are different cultures, there are different languages, you know, there are different lifestyle, everything is different. So how can you bring everyone under one umbrella? Also, you know, when we talk about UCC, so everybody directly starts focusing on Hindu Muslim. It's not only about Hindu Muslim and getting them under one umbrella. It's about one community also. for example, it's about Hindus also. Hindu up north, their tradition, their culture is way different than the kind of practices Hindu they do down south. Even in the family matters about the marriages, the tradition, culture is very different in various parts of the country. So it's not only about Hindu-Muslim divide, it's about getting everyone together. Also, concerning tribals, now in Chhattisgarh, I think tribals been kept out of this. So how can you get them under this umbrella? So until unless a draft doesn't come, I don't think I'll be able to answer this question.
Chirag, you've spoken about your admiration for the Prime Minister. Are there any opposition leaders also that you admire? And what kind of relationship do you have with the opposition leaders?
I think it's good equation, and I've learned it from my father. My father used to have beautiful relationship with everyone across the party line. And I think my father was very, very clear. So am I. When the question was asked for my chief minister, I'm very clear that my concern with my chief minister is only concerning his policies, not with him as an individual. And even when I was out of the alliance or I was not with them, that time also, whenever I used to meet my chief minister, I used to go and touch his feet, take his blessings. So this is something that I have learned from my father, and he used to have very good relation across the party line. And so do I. I mean, in my state, I'm in one of the biggest opposition party, Rashtriya Janata Dal. Their senior leaders, they all are like my family members, and I've said this on record many a times. Tejasvi is like my younger brother. Laluji is like father to me, but then that's on a personal level only. When it comes to the political part of it, definitely I will say whatever that's not correct.
Any leaders that you admire in the opposition?
Admire would be a strong word. I think I'll just keep that to my Prime Minister only. But then, yes, on and off, whom should I name? I don't think I can name anyone. But then, yeah, something or the other is good in someone or the other.
You kept the word admire for the Prime Minister, but what is your equation like with him?
I think it's good. I think
only professional or at personal level, there's an equation.
So again, my Prime Minister is very clear on the professional level and at the personal level. I think personally, my Prime Minister was there always with me and my family. During my difficult times also, in the past 3 years also, I remember him giving me a call every 3 months, 4 months, and just to check up that how am I doing and stuff. At a personal level, when I was going through one of the most difficult times of my life and my father was in hospital, so my Prime Minister was there throughout. Imagine being the Prime Minister of a country. He used to call me twice directly on my mobile, and morning sharp at 8:30 and around 10:30 at night. And not only he used to inquire about my father's health, rather he used to give me suggestion. After speaking to the doctors and taking second opinions and stuff, he used to suggest me that we can do this and we can do that. So I think on a personal level, he's been there always for me and for my family. I think I'm one of those very few blessed ones, whom my Prime Minister has given a nice tight hug. The way he spoke for me, I think this matters a lot to me when he came to my constituency in Hajipur. And I think for 5 minutes continuously, he was speaking about me, that how he was noticing me right from 2014, my presence in Parliament and how I used to come prepare, and how he discussed this during a cabinet meeting also. So these things he was speaking while he was addressing the people of my constituency there in Hajipur. So yes, on a personal level, but then yes, on the political level, then it's very different.
You admire Prime Minister, and what are your views for Rahul Gandhi?
Well, Rahul ji, I mean, off late though, I see him taking his responsibilities a bit more seriously. But then initially, we always felt that he's extremely reluctant in politics. I think one of the reasons why my father left UPA was because he couldn't meet Rahul ji. Me and my father used to meet respected Sonia ji repeatedly. And every time she used to ask us to go and meet Rahul ji. And I think my father kept trying for good 3 to 4 months to meet Rahul ji. And not even a single meeting could take place. So I think that was one of the reasons why my father was very upset. Being one of the senior leaders and an important ally in UPA government, he was not given time by Rahul ji to meet. So yes, I mean, initially I used to feel a lot of reluctance. Now I think, yes, he is getting a little more responsible, but then I still don't appreciate his kind of politics. As an LOP, the kind of speech that was given by him, where forget about disrespecting various religion. I mean, I'm a huge Shiv Bhakt, and when he was showing those pictures of Mahadev, and the way he was keeping it on the table and keeping all the rest of the papers over that image, I mean, yes, that hurts me, and I think to a lot of others who believe in Mahadev. But then also, the way he was making personal remarks on my Prime Minister or on the chair, I don't think that these things are needed. And I think as an LOP, he comes with a huge responsibility also. So, but then, yeah, so I mean, I don't really understand that, I don't really understand his kind of politics. But then, yeah, he was one of the reasons that time why we left UPA.
तो जब राहुल गांधी ने आपके पिताजी से मिलने से इनकार कर दिया, तो वो क्या जानबूझ के, was it meant to be a slight or was it just irresponsibility?
I don't know. I think reluctance is the word that I used. नहीं मिलने का समय उनके द्वारा दिया गया, पता नहीं कारण क्या था, नहीं मिलना चाहते थे या मिलना ज़रूरी नहीं समझते थे, कारण मुझे नहीं पता, बट हाँ, नहीं मुलाकात, खैर मेरे लिए अच्छा ही है, क्योंकि अगर मुलाकात हो जाती तो शायद एनडीए में आने के लिए पापा को कन्विंस करना मुश्किल होता.